Guys, there is even more Forsaken news to talk about. Like, it just doesn't stop. Like, it's actually insane. But today, we have an incredibly exciting new trailer for the Forsaken expansion, and in this one, Bungie show off a ton of the new gear that we're gonna see inside of this DLC. We see an absolute ton of exotic gear, we get really tasty cinematics showing off various legendaries, armor sets, weapons, a breakdown of a bunch of what these weapons are actually gonna do, and there is some really cool looking stuff coming up in the Forsaken expansion. So we're gonna break it all down in this video, talk about the exotics and the things that we see inside of this gameplay. Plus we'll check out the full trailer as well, so if you guys do enjoy the video, a like below is very much appreciated. Be sure to hit subscribe to this channel as well if you want to keep up to date with Destiny 2 Forsaken DLC news. But without further delay, let's jump straight into it. So as you can see right here, we've got a bunch of footage showing off really cool looking gear and exotics that we're going to see in this expansion. I figured before we talk about it, I may as well let you guys check out the trailer in full, so here we go.
They didn't expect that! Like a whirlwind of death! Fantastic work!
Destiny 2 Forsaken, available September 4th. Pre-order and get the Ace of Spades last hand ornament, plus Cade's exotic stash.
So that is the new gear trailer that Bungie posted for us. Some incredibly exciting stuff inside of this trailer. I actually think that's one of the most hype trailers that we've ever had for a DLC or anything like that in Destiny 2. Obviously, they're revealing an absolute ton of the gear that we're going to be seeing. We did hear previously that there's going to be around about 15 new exotic weapons. And of course, on top of this, there will be a bunch of exotic armor. But going into this screen right here, we can see a bunch of different weapons the Guardians are holding, some really tasty looking armor. We know that some of it is Dreaming City stuff, possibly some new shaders right here as well. We've got a very kind of pinky purple Hunter right there. The Hunter is holding the Ace of Spades, of course, a returning weapon from Destiny 1. It's the first time we've actually seen the exotic being wielded by Guardians outside of cinematics and stuff like that. We also see the Hunter with this really cool beam rifle that we just got a sneak peek at. We'll talk about that in a moment. And the Titan rocking the new exotic sword, as well as an exotic helmet right there. What we see next is the double rocket launcher, the one that fires 2 rockets at once. When we first saw this weapon, it was actually called the Twin Rabbit inside of the UI that we saw in the original Forsaken trailer. It obviously has been updated and it's now called the Two-Tailed Fox. It fires 2 rounds. We get a void round, which is actually a suppressor, and then a solar round, which explodes. The crazy thing is, though, that these rockets actually split and go in different directions. So I'm not entirely sure how that is going to work, how you can control that, or whether it's just simply seeking different targets somehow. Very interesting stuff, really cool looking exotic. Speaking of cool looking stuff, these things are pretty interesting for the Titan. These are called the Antaeus wards, and it says you can slide to reflect projectiles. So we see the Titan right here. A hunter fires a rocket at him in PvP. He slides into the rocket right here, and it actually deflects, and it sends the rocket back and kills the hunter, which is absolutely insane. We can also see what looks like the old Juggernaut shield for the Titan right there while it's sprinting. I don't know if this symbolizes that it's kind of charged up or something. Very interesting concept though. Then we see the Trinity Ghoul. This is the exotic bow that we're going to get in the expansion. Precision kills create electrical storm arrows. So if you keep chaining precision kills, you will actually get this capability to chain a bunch of damage to enemies, which is really interesting. We have this pretty glorious looking chest piece for the hunter right here. This is called the 6th Coyote. Very, very ornate for sure. I really like the rest of the armor the hunter's got as well, but it will grant double dodge for the hunter, so that's going to be super tricky. And as you can see, they go in with the sword right there. That looks like the Dreaming City set sword. So hunters and their trolley abilities are definitely not going anywhere just yet. In all seriousness though, that looks like a bunch of fun. But now we get a look at the exotic hand cannon that a whole bunch of people have been very curious about for quite some time. So it's called Malfeasance, and 5 hits with this weapon will detonate an explosion. When we see it fire, it does appear to have that more modern kind of firing pattern that we've seen on some of the hand cannons in more recent times in Destiny. It looks like it's doing arc damage right there with the explosion as well. Pretty interesting. Could be a very powerful exotic. But this sword right here is the Black Talon. We have seen this already. We've got some really juicy kind of screenshots of this weapon, and they describe it as a projectile sword. So it's actually firing, I believe that's arc damage, unless it's void and the color is just a bit off. Let me know what you guys think below. But it fires this kind of wave, pretty similar to what the Dawnblade would fire from the swords. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully it's going to be super, super strong as well. Some of the exotic swords really need some love in Destiny. Hopefully we'll start to see that with the September expansion. The next exotic we see is one of the coolest weapons I think I've ever seen in Destiny in general. It's called 1000 Voices, and it's an exploding beam of fire. So kind of like a trace rifle, maybe a more powerful version of a trace rifle than what you typically see. Interesting that it's also called 1000 Voices. With the Hive theme, I don't know whether this could be linked to the Will of the Thousands or Zol in some way. Pretty interesting because we're also seeing the Whisper of the Worm mission and things like that at the moment in Destiny. But visually, I think that's a really cool, very grotesque looking, but pretty awesome looking weapon. Next, we see Warlock Armor, the Chromatic Fire, elemental explosions from precision kinetic kills. So precision kills from kinetic weapons allow this elemental explosion to occur. We see a Void explosion right there. We don't know if this is a Void Walker, whether the element is completely randomized, or whether there's some way that you can actually, change it with the exotic. Next though, we see the Wish Ender. Now this is a new bow weapon, something pretty different to what we've seen so far. It allows you to see through walls and pierce targets. So you can see the hunter is lining up the shot as these guys come around the corner. Now it has this target piercing capability, so it means that essentially the bullets, or the rounds, will go straight through a target, so you can get kind of collateral kills with it. Potentially that confirms you can't do that with all of the other bows in the game. But that thing looks super, super cool. I think there's going to be a lot of folks using these in PvP and getting some really cool clips with them as well. But then of course we see Ace of Spades right here. Seems to have this new kind of effect around the outside of the weapon, but reloading after a kill will grant extra damage bullets. It also definitely has some kind of explosive capability right there, which is really cool. Next though, they just gave us a series of sneak peeks at other exotics. So we see the Hunter Gauntlets. We had spotted these previously in some gameplay. Very cool looking things for sure, potentially linked to the bow. They are teasing that bow right there. We see the Titan again with the new exotic sword, a weapon that looks somewhat similar to the Invective, but is covered in Hive runes. It also seems to have that kind of bone effect on the weapon as well, somewhat similar to older kind of Crota weapons and things like that. So it's a bit of a mashup between a few different types of weapon, but it looks really awesome. We see the Warlock with some exotic boots right there with this kind of arc effect. The Titan with the Cerberus +1 exotic auto rifle, another legendary auto rifle, or potentially an exotic right there, which looks really neat. That's a cool model of weapon. And then this helmet, which we have seen before, believed to be an exotic helmet. Certainly looks like it. And we see various clips of some of the weapons we'd spotted previously in action right there as well. Now, one thing to point out at the end of the trailer, we see this Titan with a really cool chest piece right there with a kind of glow coming out of it. Maybe that's going to be raid gear. That would be really cool. But also, we spot a helmet right there that you may recognize from Destiny 1. And this was actually the Titan helmet from the set that originally came from Prison of Elders. So I don't know whether that is legendary gear, potentially exotic. It appears to be kind of part of a set right there, and that chest piece looks really neat. So that is the bulk of the stuff they show us inside of that trailer, guys. Like I said, really awesome stuff. I think it's one of the most hype trailers that they've brought us for Destiny. Let me know your thoughts down below on any of the gear we saw inside of this video. We are going to be getting a bunch of very cool exotics, very obviously. I wonder how many other exotics there may be in the game as well that they haven't actually revealed yet. I'd imagine there'll certainly be some stuff that they're actually kind of, keeping quiet about, some quest weapons and things like that. But like I said, let me know any of your thoughts on it down below. I am going to run the trailer again at the end of this video, just in case you wanted a little bit more hype, guys. But if you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. I'd appreciate your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. Also check out the Houndish Awesome Day shirts. We still have these up for sale right now. You can get the Awesome Day version or the logo version of the shirt as well. Of course, if you buy one, it supports me here on the channel. So if you do want to do that, I'll link that down in the description below. I very much appreciate all of the support you guys have shown me. But for now, whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.
They didn't expect that! Like a whirlwind of death! Fantastic work!